And I'd like to ask our Board of Elections Director, Carla Heron, to lead us in the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I am Barb Lewis, Vice President. To my right, and I don't even have to say to my right or my left, because there's only one, is Commissioner Jeff Denton. And our Deputy Administrator is here, Don Houston, and today Sarah DeNovo will be leading us. Thank you.
Resolution number 21-60, in the matter of approving the electronic record of proceedings from a regular meeting held January 21st, 2021.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 21-60. Mr. Merrill is absent today. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-61, in the matter of approving purchase orders, then and now certificates, and payments of warrants in batch number CMA PR 10127, and memo transfers in batch numbers MTA 0127.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 21-61. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Bitton?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-62, in the matter of accepting the treasurer's report for the month of December 2020.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Yeah, actually, I'd like to comment, the Star Ohio rate is 0.08 now.
Oh,
So
my
it's-
goodness.
It's almost zero. You know, the short-term funds that we have invested, we're almost earning nothing on them.
Yeah,
So it's good for borrowers, not so good for investors.
right. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it had gone that low.
Yeah, amazing.
And
Okay.
we have our investment committee coming up too,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, well,
maybe we can figure
maybe
out.
zero by then.
It could be zero. All right, vote, please.
Vote on motion 21-62. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-63, in matter of canceling the commissioner session scheduled for Thursday, February 4th, 2021.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 21-63. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-64, in the matter of authorizing the use of a procurement card for the Board of Elections.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
One of our employees is going from full-time to part-time, so we're asking for another procurement card for one of our other employees to take over those duties and using our part-times just kind of as a backup moving forward.
Okay.
And this will be Ali Solov, who's the over poll worker recruitment and also training, so it just makes sense for her to have it since she purchases a lot of refreshments and things like that for poll worker training.
Okay. Would you like to make quick introductions?
I'm sorry, this
That's
is Anthony
okay.
Sadie, Deputy Director.
And Carla Heron, Director.
Okay. You came all this way.
I
so,
know.
mean,
You know
gotta
what?
get
Sometimes I remember and sometimes I don't.
Yeah,
You think I'd be
that's
better
the-
at it after
yeah.
being up here a dozen times, but
Yeah.
I'll never get it.
No, no. Okay. Thank you. Vote.
Vote on motion 21-64. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-65, in the matter of approving supplemental appropriation for the Board of Elections.
So moved.
Second.
So last year, we received $40,000 in federal money, HAVA money, for the purpose of cybersecurity enhancements, physical security enhancements, and ADA accessibility enhancements. We were only allowed to use $25,000 of that for physical or cybersecurity, which we did by upgrading all of our cameras and adding some more cameras to our Board of Elections. So now we are asking to reappropriate the remaining $15,000 for building improvements for the ADA accessibility, specifically
Oh, great.
perhaps restriping our parking lot to bring it more in compliance with ADA accessibility for the purpose of voting, as well as the entryway doors. Randy told me that the doors that we have with the button that automatically opens is approaching the end of its life, so we figured we could use this to replace
Okay.
that mechanism as well.
Okay. Vote.
Vote on motion 21-65. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 21-66, in the matter of approving the Second Amendment to the Tower Site License Agreement between the Delaware County Board of Commissioners, the Department of Emergency Services, and New Singular Wireless PCS LLC.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Patrick Brandt, 911 Director. What we have before you is a second amendment to our tower lease agreement with AT&T. AT&T's been a longtime tenant on the tower out in the village of Sunbury that the Commissioners own. They are now asking to put a generator on that property, as they've, obviously with AEP and power outages and stuff, keeping cellular up is a priority for them, and they're now asking to put a generator on our property. This addendum will allow them to do that.
Okay.
What, I noticed in the agreement they're expanding their service coverage. What areas are they covering that would require more usage?
What this will do, with the other part they did on, AT&T got the federal contract for FirstNet. FirstNet is the cellular service used by public safety agencies that has more priority over any other cellular in case there is a situation. They're running FirstNet on that tower. It's tied into AT&T's backbone and everything. And part of the federal government agreement with FirstNet was they have to provide backup services and make sure those towers can maintain power. And that would get them in compliance, get AT&T in compliance with the federal requirements of their contract.
Okay.
Okay, vote please.
Vote on motion 21-66. Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Resolution number 21-67, in the matter of approving a permit for the use of Delaware County facilities.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jane Hawes, Director of Communications. Before you is a permit. This group we've worked with before from the Delaware Area Career Center, using the fire grounds there for the training with their adult firefighters training course. This will likely be the last time that they would be able to use it before construction begins at the Bixby campus. So I've cleared it. John Melvin has no objections to their using this on these 3 dates. So we recommend your approval.
Okay. Vote please.
Vote on motion 21-67. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Resolution number 21-68, in the matter of a letter of support expressing the importance of attaining full reimbursement of indigent defense.
So moved.
Second, discussion.
Before you, the letter of support that we prepared following the discussion on Monday in session with the board expressing its support for full funding, full reimbursement of indigent defense by the state. So I don't know if you want to
Sure.
read what we've crafted, but
Any further comments?
I'm not going to read it. I don't know if Commissioner
Oh,
Lewis,
I see.
Read the whole letter. I mean, it's very well
yeah,
written.
no, I will.
with a lot of-
We'll be sending this to the governor's office. if
Sure,
approved.
sure.
Yeah. Again, we've talked about this in the past, and last year was a big step forward in terms of funding, but now with the fiscal constraints the state has, there's rumors that they may be cutting back on that, even though it wasn't completely fully funded, which it should be. So we just want to, I think, reinforce that it is time and it is appropriate to fully fund the indigent defense.
Yes, this is a battle we fought before and had won, and so we want to, unfortunately, because of COVID, some cutbacks in the budget were proposed or are proposed, and so we just want to make it very clear that there should be full funding of indigent defense. It is the constitutional, under the constitutional purview of the state and not the counties. And the counties have been picking up an increasing percentage of it over the years. And so we just want to say, let's stop and let's go back and let's make sure that we still have the full funding for indigent defense. And Commissioner Merrill could not be here today, but he said he wanted me to make sure that he voiced his full support of the 100% indigent defense funding. So,
Yeah, I think it's important to understand that we, after probably a 2-year study, have implemented a new model for public defenders, public defense, because we felt we needed to provide higher quality service. at a not too bad increase in the cost. Again, anticipating this increased funding to help us with that re-strategizing of that service. So it just makes it extra important.
Right.
Because we've invested time and dollars in a new structure with the understanding this funding would be there.
Right, and our commission is meeting, and so they will
Moving
be
forward.
suggesting someone to become our public defender very shortly. So it's the judges who actually appoint that person, but they are doing the interviewing. Okay, vote, please.
Vote on motion 21-68. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jane.
Thank you, Jane.
We do have an order of other business, if you want to take care of that before we go into executive.
Sure.
Resolution number 21-69, in the matter of scheduling a special session on Wednesday, February 3rd, 2021, at 3:30 PM.
So moved.
Second, discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 21-69. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
That brings us to administrative reports.
And I have nothing to report today.
Commissioner Benton?
Just a couple things. We had our Mid-Ohio Development Exchange annual meeting yesterday, and One Columbus kind of led the discussion. It went very well. There's been a lot of very good progress in the last decade and the last year, both in terms of economic development in the Central Ohio region. And so I want to congratulate Bode and all those who participate in that. Regional planning is tonight. We had the SEPCO board meeting last Friday. I forgot to mention this the other day, but no real changes. The loss rate for the year came in very much in line with expectations. It was high in the beginning, lower later on, but overall it averaged out pretty close. So no significant changes coming. But, that's all I got.
That's all? Okay. I attended a Bridges Community Action meeting virtually last night, and we have a new board member on that board from Union County, and Chris Schmank.
No, Chris is on.
And she is just fantastic, and so really glad to have her, former director of the Ohio Department of Development, I think called Development Services now. But anyway, she was the former head and an attorney with Bricker, and former mayor of Marysville. And so she is just great to work with, and really happy to have her on the board. So I think that was the most important thing that happened. And that's all I have.
All right. Resolution number 21-70, in the matter of adjourning into executive session to consider the purchase of property for public purposes.
So moved.
Second discussion, vote.
Vote on motion 21-70. Mrs. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. Benton?
Aye.
We are now adjourned or recessed